All right, I think we're here. Hey, Chris, how's everything? Doing
Hi.
good? All right, we're here.
Let's see if
See if everything's going.
people are here.
Yeah, let us know in the chat there if you can hear and see us and everything's all right, please. Cool beans.
Well, it says 33.
All right.
Okay, so
We're here for some Ask Chris Anything.
Google Photos
It
Q&A.
should be fun. So
And
we've done this before and we have some questions. Do you want to get right into it?
sure. Well, do the slideshow first.
Okay. I thought you were going to do the slideshow.
You told me you were.
Okay.
I can.
Yeah, you go ahead.
All right. Drive. That'll take me a second.
Yeah, when I just changed monitor things and I missed something there, I
Yeah,
think.
huh? Yeah. Well,
We do that.
that's why we have two of us.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
can't. I just don't see how any YouTubers
Do it.
do
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 it.
things all by themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
But yeah.
So we are here to answer Google Photos questions.
Yeah.
Although it does say ask Chris anything, so
Yeah, I guess we can do anything.
but it's supposed to be about Google Photos.
Okay.
And one of the reasons
Yeah.
is because I wrote this book.
Yeah.
I wrote this book on Google Photos, and I am a Google Photos product expert, designated by Google. So I have a lot of answers. They may not be to your questions though. So let's see how that goes. The book, in case you don't have the book, I want to tell you how you can get it. It is available on Amazon. So you just search for Learn Google Photos. It's also available in this spiral bound version. You have to get that directly from us, not from Amazon. And if you just take a picture of your screen right now, then using Google Photos, you can scan that QR code and it will take you to the page on our learngooglephotos.com website that talks all about the book and gives you the different ways that you can get it. And if you are a geeksontour.com premium member, then you have access to the PDF file as part of your membership.
Great.
And second thing to know is I call it the book is alive. With something like Google Photos, the day after it's published, there are changes. So I've made a separate web page, and you can get to that web page by typing in LGP for Learn Google Photos book.online into a browser. Or once again, just take a picture of your screen right now, and you can later scan that QR code that will take you right there. Okay, so with that introduction, we have several people wrote in questions beforehand, and we're going to start with them, okay? And then I know that people are putting questions in the chat, and Jim will bring those up in a
Okay.
bit.
Question from Judy. I know I can add text to a photo using the Android version, but I want more fonts like Picasa had.
Yeah, on the Android version of Google Photos, you can add text, but it's not very powerful. Let me just, for those of you who don't know what she's talking about, I do want to demonstrate this and give you one idea as to what else you can do. So I bring up this picture and I'm on my Android, my Samsung device. If I tap on edit, there's a lot of choices if you scroll over. This is very different than the iOS version right now. But if you tap on more, you get what's called markup. And in markup, you have text.
Move it up. They
And
didn't see that.
I can type, they didn't see, well, I can type basil. I can change the color. And when I'm done with that, I can then move it around. I can make the word bigger with 2 fingers. And yeah, it's a little tricky. It's a little tricky, but I can't change the font. So that's what she's talking about. She wants more control. Boy, it hasn't been that hard before. She wants more control than what Google Photos gives. So let me just give you one option. For one thing, if you really, really like doing it with Picasa, how about downloading the photo to your computer, and you can still use Picasa to do it, and then just re-upload it. And we have several videos on how to do that. But another option, if you have a Samsung anyway, is to use the Samsung Gallery app. As long as the photo is on your phone, you know, the Samsung Gallery cannot access my years past Google Photos, but it can access photos that are on the phone. And then it has, yeah, I did that orchids with the Samsung.
Let me get that.
It has a better, so if you go into edit with the Samsung Gallery and text, and you can choose gradient, you know, I'll type orchids. And each time I tap in here, I get a different choice. And let's say I like that. And I done, and then I can make it bigger or smaller. And there were lots of different choices in the text. Still not the kind of control that you have with Picasa, though, I understand. Now, when I save, it gets saved to internal storage DCIM camera. Google Photos will pick that up. So those are my two thoughts. If you have a Samsung, try using the Gallery app for doing text on photos, and you can download and use Picasa.
Another question. Should I develop a plan to call duplicates on a regular basis?
Sure, why not? I won't, because it's too much work. To get rid of bad photos is just painful to me. I keep them all. Even once we have to start paying for storage, the amount of storage for individual photos is so minuscule. I still think of Google Photos as giving me unlimited storage, and I don't want to do the work of finding the bad ones. I just do it the other way around. I keep them all, but I pick my best ones and put into albums. And then if I ever want to share my photos with somebody, I'll just share the albums, not, you know, I won't be showing them my library of all my photos, including all the junk. Now, that said, as I go through my photos, if I see something that is truly garbage, you know, a picture of the inside of my pocket or something,
Delete those.
I'll delete that.
Yeah.
But I don't want to do the work of coming up with a system to clean out. I don't see the need.
Okay. Question from John and Kathleen. How can I add multiple photos to an album?
Okay. That one is pretty easy, and I'm going to do that on the computer. So I go to my Google Photos, and you just select them. So if these are frangipani flowers here, just so gorgeous, and I did some artwork with them. So I can just select and select and select. Then you click the plus and album. You can make a new album, or I can put it in my album for April And now they're in that album. So the key is to select just by clicking the little check mark and then the plus.
Oh, great. All right. Let's see. I used Backup and Sync to upload photos from my computer to Google Photos. Now I'm getting a message that drive storage is full.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds to me like you didn't get the box checked for high quality and that they got uploaded in original quality. Because if they had been in high quality, they wouldn't have counted either in Google Photos or in Google Drive. You know, I can prove that if anybody needs it proven. But so if you did not get the high quality checked and your photos got uploaded to both Google Photos and Google Drive in original quality, you can recover that storage from Google Photos using the recover storage command. It will retroactively shrink all those. The ones in Google Drive, you will have to delete because it doesn't have a recover storage, at least not to my knowledge. So you'll have to go find them in Google Drive and delete.
Okay. Marianne G wants to know, when I want to add a photo to an old album, how do I quickly locate that album?
Yeah. I hear you. I hear you. So the point is, if you select like those photos that I just selected, I'll share screen again.
Okay.
Those photos that I just selected, let's say I wanted to put them into an album. I know I have an album called Flowers, but if I click the plus and go to album, I will have to just go bug-eyed scrolling through because I have hundreds of albums. So I'm pretty sure that's what Marianne is talking about.
And there's no search.
And there's no search in here. It's not too bad though. It's not too bad. Here's what you do. Step 1 is you can search for the album before you've selected the pictures. So up here, I will type Flowers and Chris Flowers. So that's the album that I want. I couldn't find it in the list, but I could search for it. Now you just add a photo. Any old photo will do, but add a photo. And I'll even just add that basil one. Now I can go back. Adding a photo makes it a recently used album. And as I'll show you, that puts it at the top of the list. So now I can go back to my photos, select these pretty frangipansies, click the plus and album. And now we'll see a section called Recent, and there is the Chris's Flowers album. So, and that's relative. That hasn't been there the whole time with Google Photos. It's been several months, but it's somewhat new.
Okay, a question from Nikki. How do I move all my photos from Picasa to Google Photos? Is there a video or a button show that will show me?
First of all, chapter 3. And the issue, as I assume you know, Picasa used to have a button, upload to Google Photos, but that stopped working in 2018, I think. So there is no way to use Picasa tools to upload to Google Photos. You have to know that the photos that you're looking at in Picasa are stored in folders on your computer. So you have to use the Google tools to upload from those folders to. And we did do a whole button show. And when I say button show, I need to explain to people what I'm talking about. So if you go to geeksontour.com. That's our main website. We are geeks, and we tour around the country giving these seminars. So geeksontour.com. And our YouTube show is called What Does This Button Do? And we shorten it and just call it the Button Show. So it's What Does This Button Do? And we've done 210 episodes. Episode number 132 was about converting from Picasa to Google Photos. So geeksontour.com, YouTube show menu, and they're all there. Just scroll down until you see 132. And if you are a member, you will get detailed show notes, but anybody can watch the whole hour-long show. But if you are a member, you have to log in and you get the show notes. So hopefully that helps.
I'm already paying 99 cents a month. Why is Google One saying I'm out of storage? And what is Google One?
Okay, what is Google One? Yeah, it's also relatively new. First thing to understand is your Google account. So your Google account is probably represented by a Gmail address. And your Google account gets you into all the Google services. One Google account represents your Gmail, your Google Photos, your Google Calendar, your Google Drive. As long as you are logged in with your one account, when you go to those different services, you will see your stuff. So I'm going to share screen here. Your Google account would be accounts.google.com. And that tells you what your account is. But notice here this Google One. So Google One is a premium account. Google One means you're paying for it. Now, you say that you're paying 99 cents. I think you're thinking of Apple. Apple iCloud has a 99-cent tier. Google One does not. It starts at $1.99 and then goes to $2.99. So my thought is that you are not paying for extra storage with Google, and that you probably should. So you just click on storage here. Now I am paying for extra storage. That's why it says that I have 102 gigabytes total possible.
And I share that with her, so I have.
Right. And we are paying $1.99 a month for 100 gigabytes total.
Guess who uses more than Chris or me?
So hopefully that helped. How's our live audience? Our live audience should be paid attention to here.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, we do. We do care about them. Okay.
Hello, everybody.
Bing.
Hello from Berlin.
Yeah.
Yes.
Boca Beach.
I know.
Michigan. I did send you some questions. Okay, Al, we're going to get to yours.
Yep, we just got to your first one.
Okay, Scarsdale. Wow. Hi, Joel. One feature he wishes Google Photos had. I like to organize and edit my photos in Google Photos and then want to download the album so I can put the shots into a fancier slideshow than Google Photos has.
Actually, I have a video on how to use an album of Google Photos and a PowerPoint slideshow with music and all that stuff.
That's right.
Let me see if I can find that. So how I would find that would be going to geeksontour.com, tutorials and all videos. And then I'll search for PowerPoint. Let's see, because I don't do much with PowerPoint. So my guess is if I find PowerPoint, yeah,
Slideshow.
Google Photos slideshow with PowerPoint. Video number 565. Check that out and see if it helps. Because yeah, I agree. The slideshow and or movie maker features of Google Photos are pretty minimal.
And he wants to keep the order of the images in the album, but Google Photos doesn't allow that.
That is a real, right? Agreed. You have no control over sort order except by date. And when you're in a Google Photos album, you can manually move them around and they stay there as long as you're in Google Photos. But when they come down to your computer is probably looking at them in either date order or file name order. Agreed.
Okay.
There's no way.
My Google Cloud keeps telling me that I'm running low on disk space. I have 100 gigabytes of storage. Looking in Google One. Google Drive is using 9, almost 10 gigabytes. Gmail, none. And Google Photos is using just a tad. What's that about?
If you have 100 gigabytes of storage and Google Drive is using 10, Gmail none, and Photos 0.3, then you're certainly not out of space. Are you sure you don't have more than one account? And maybe the 100 gigabytes is attached to one account and you're looking at, that's the only thing I can think of, because yeah, if you have 100 gigabytes, it means you're paying $1.99 a month. And you certainly shouldn't be running out of space because it's only used by those 3 products: Google Mail, Gmail, Google Drive, and Google Photos. Those are the only 3 things that use your storage space from Google One.
Hi, Robin.
Hey, Robin.
Nikki. Right. Let's see. Chris and Edith. Moving photos to Google Photos from external devices. They read chapter 3. If you save the photos to Google Drive and then have to move the photos to Google Photos.
No, something's wrong. Google Photos from external devices. It depends on how many you have. If it's just 1 or 2, if it's just a handful of folders worth, I do it manually. You can either drag and drop from the external drive to your Google Photos, or you can go to Google Photos, click the upload, navigate to the external drive. Now, I think what you might be talking about is if you have dozens or hundreds of folders, as was my example in our last episode, then you need to use the Google Backup and Sync, which will go to both Google Photos and Google Drive. But it doesn't go just to Google Drive and then you have to move them over. No. In fact, if they're just in Google Drive, you can't move them over. There is no direct connect between Google Drive and Google Photos anymore. So you need to go up to both.
Hey, Richard and Pat. Tom Parks. Here we go. Any concerns, issues, privacy, or otherwise that you should be aware of before posting a link on a public forum to an album in my Google Photos account?
Well, one thing that some people worry about, and I will say, no, you don't have to worry about it, is if you've given access to one album, do those people have access to anything else in your Google Photos? And the answer is absolutely not. They only have access to what's in that album. There is one thing that I think you should turn off. When you make an album, by default, a setting called collaboration is on. So when I share an album with Jim, I want him to be able to add his own photos to that. Or if you have a club trip to the Bahamas and you want everybody in the club to be able to add their pictures, that's what collaboration is for. But if you have shared an album with a public group, you don't want any of them to be able to add. You know, there can be spammers, scammers, whatever, adding improper photos. So you just go into the album settings, the album, and turn off the collaboration. Personally, I think it should be off by default and you should have to turn it on. It seems like that's the way it used to be, but now it's on by default.
Hey, our friends Steve and Karen. Somebody just had a birthday. Happy birthday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Joseph says, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good to see you. Bonnie, how do you get the picture to have the correct name when it is only one person? There's no way to change, edit.
There's no pencil to change.
There's no edit.
And there's only one person. There should be. So let me show you what she's talking about. If I go to a photo that has a person in it, then it shows that.
And what a good looking person that is, too.
It shows that this face has a album in the people section of Google Photos. And there it is. And if that's wrong, I can click the pencil and remove this face from that album. And then I'll have the ability to add it to something else. I'm not, since that is correct. But I don't see what you should have a pencil. Yeah. Now, maybe what you're talking about is if there are multiple faces and they don't all show up. So and yeah, it says, I mean, I see at least 2 faces visible here. And it only says that 1 face is available to add. And why it didn't add him automatically, I don't know. But sometimes there are faces that just don't get identified as faces. But if they are, there should be a pencil letting you say who that is.
Okay. Robin says, I have Snapseed installed on my iPad, but it's not connected to Google Photos.
There's a bug. There's a bug between Snapseed and iOS Google Photos. And check this out. If I go to Geeks on Tour and in the all videos, and I did it relatively recently, so I'll just kind of scroll down rather than searching. There, iOS Snapseed bug. So watch that, Robin, and you'll figure it out. Basically, the answer is it disconnects after you use it once. So you have to force quit Google Photos to reestablish the connection with Snapseed.
Okay, Del Rey. What's the benefit of using Google Photos versus iPhotos?
Okay, iMac. I have the answer to that. Now, they are competitors. They are very similar. And in fact, there are some features that I call it Apple Photos. Apple just calls it Photos. It's that flowery icon. But number one, if there is an Android device anywhere in your mix or in your possible future, Apple Photos is out. Apple Photos just simply does not work with Android. So that puts it out for me, period. Number two, you need to have a Mac to get full use of it. There are so many features on the Mac version of Photos that are not in the mobile version of Photos or the web version. The web version of Apple Photos just shows you your photos. You can't do editing or albums or any of that stuff, at least last time I looked. So those are the 2 things. And then just there's all sorts of little features that Google Photos has, like the connection to Snapseed and like the lens button. You know, I told you earlier, if you just took a picture of the screen that had that QR code on it, you could use Google Photos to read that QR code. There's a lot of questions, aren't there? So I won't show that, but it's nice.
Yeah, it's just easy, and it's hard to show that from here. Okay, Andrew's, oh, he's just talking about Control F. Andrew's very helpful. On any web page, Control F will give you a search.
Okay, but what he's talking about, can you go straight to the bottom and then use Control F or use flowers to search? I assume you're talking about the sample I did earlier to look for the album called Flowers. If you are on a computer, and yeah, I'll show this. If you're on a computer and I have picked this picture and I want to add it to the album called Flowers, add to album. Of course, now Flowers is going to be up at the top. So let's say I wanted to add it to, I don't know, something else, something that starts with RV. I can do a Control F and search for RV, and it finds whatever is in the immediate list. But I have hundreds of albums. It does not search. Control F only searches through whatever's in the cache, you know, what's been loaded. Hope that answered your question.
Okay. Well, let's see. Every so often, Google Photos asks me if I want to match up some faces. How I initiate that instead of waiting for Google to ask me if I want to do it.
Good question. I don't think, and I've thought of that before. I don't think you can, but I will make a note of that. And if I find out otherwise, I will put it on the website.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you think about it, go on up there and click like. If you're on YouTube, make sure you like us on here. That helps us a lot. Add comments and things on your Facebook if you're over there. So this is kind of fun doing it from both directions. All right, so that's the one that we just answered. How will, or we'll try and answer later on. How will Google charge me for the extra photos after June 1st? I'm overwhelmed with this project and will not be done in time.
Oh, no problem. No problem. And it's still so cheap. So in my opinion, just focus on the big stuff, you know, like if you have videos, that I think is worthwhile to get uploaded before June 1. But you know, you don't have to. If you use that recover storage so that you're at 0 on June 1, you now have 15 gigabytes to fill. And once you've filled that, it's $2 a month to get 100 gigabytes. Don't stress.
Worth it.
Where's my little guy here? Don't stress.
Calm down now. Don't stress. Take it easy.
You don't have to finish everything by June 1. Just if you're like me and you kind of need a deadline to get you going, then.
Okay. Frederick, Maryland.
So once you fill up the 15 gigabytes, you'll just get a notice from Google saying, hey, you're at your limit. You can't upload anymore unless you pay for more storage. And they'll say, here are your options, you know, $2 a month or $20 a year for another 100.
Tom wants to know if you got the question about backup and sync in Google Photos.
Yeah, let's go back to the previously. Let's finish those up.
Okay, let's get to Al because we started with him.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. How do I save a picture to Google Photos that I receive as an attachment to an email? And how do I attach a photo to a Yahoo mail?
Okay, so those are really two different questions, but related. If you receive an email with a photo attached, step 1, you need to detach it from the email. You need to save it. So if that's on a computer, then you save to the computer, then you have to upload it to Google Photos. So it's 2 steps. You have to save it out of the email and then upload it to Google Photos. If it's on a phone, you save it to the phone, and depending on which phone you have, it very likely will just get picked up by Google Photos by virtue of being saved to your phone. So that's how you get an email photo to Google Photos. Your second part was, how do I get a Google Photos photo into a Yahoo Mail? Lots of different ways, but the quick and dirty way is just to view your Google Photos photo, right click and copy, go to your Yahoo Mail and right click and paste. Now that's going to be getting you a very low resolution copy of the photo, but for an email, that's usually what you want. So that's how I say to do it. Otherwise, you need to upload it to Yahoo.
Okay. Ed wants to know, how do I know if all my photos from Picasa have been transferred to Google Photos?
You don't. And I will assume that they are not, because here we had a few questions on Picasa in this.
We almost always do. That's where these people came from. That's okay.
The thing I really need to stress is cloud versus local device, and then the terms upload and download. So Google Photos is in the cloud, and your job is to get your photos from all your devices up to the Google Photos cloud. Picasa was on your computer, and the photos that it looked at were on your computer. So unless you have uploaded them, they're not in Google Photos cloud. One exception, if you used Picasa web albums. Now,
long time ago.
Yeah, and so Picasa on the computer. Picasa web albums is what you used in the cloud. You could upload from Picasa to Picasa web albums years ago. That was still under your Google account. So if you did that, then all the photos that were in your Picasa web albums are now in Google Photos. But they're your photos. You need to be aware of what's where. You need to spot check, and do the uploads. And yeah. So, and that the uploading from Picasa is in chapter 3, and that button show we did, episode 132, will give you lots more details on how to get it uploaded.
Okay. Karen says, all my photos are currently in Google Drive and in folders named with each year. There are multiple folders within each year, and how do I get them to Google Photos?
Yeah. About a year ago, Google cut the tie between Drive and Photos. If you had been in this situation before that happened, there was just a little checkbox in Google that says, get all my photos from Google Drive. It's not there anymore. Gone. Can't do it. So you have to download from Drive and upload to Photos. Now that can be done either manually or automatically. Automatically would be using the Google Backup and Sync. And there's, my advice would be to start with one album or one folder, and just see how it works. And then you can get the whole thing. But it absolutely can be done. You just need to download and then upload.
I just received by Gmail a long video, which is very special to me. How do I move it to my Google Photos?
Download and upload. You need to get it out of the email. You need to detach it from the email and save it to your computer. And if you look at the attachment on your email, you should see some little button or some little down arrow that means download it to your computer. And then you can upload it to Google Photos in one of those three ways, either drag and drop, or upload and find it, or use backup and sync.
Okay, Tom, this is Tom's question. My backup and sync is crashing. How do I get my scanned photos into Google Photos with backup and sync?
Okay, there was actually a lot more to his question, but I kind of paraphrased here.
Condensed it.
It sounded to me, Tom, like your backup and sync was overwhelmed. You said you had like over 200,000 pictures, and you've been doing this for a long time. So my guess is that the great majority of those 200,000 pictures on your computer have been uploaded to Google Photos. So why torture that poor backup and sync software by having to look at those over and over and over again? What I do, let me see if just showing you my backup and sync will make sense then. So the first time I installed backup and sync on my computer, I had 100,000 photos on my computer. And I told backup and sync, go get them all. And it took a week or so. But then I turned that off. So, and here's how I did it. So here is Google Backup and Sync preferences.
Now this is on a PC.
This is on Windows, right? Similar on a Mac, but not exactly the same. So notice that I have unchecked desktop documents, pictures, and I only have one folder that backup and sync is looking at. And I call it upload these. So I said, okay, thank you very much. You've gotten all the photos from my computer. From now on, if there's any photo that I want to put on my computer and get uploaded to Google Photos, I will put it in the upload these folder. And backup and sync will take it from there.
Okay. Question from Hal. When I upload from Picasa to Google Photos via the drag and drop method, often the process stops after a few photos have been uploaded and it stops uploading the remaining photos.
Well, first thing, Hal, you say your upload from Picasa. As we've discussed, there really is no such thing. You can't anymore. It broke over 3 years ago. You can't open Picasa and click the upload button. It doesn't work. So you must be meaning that you are uploading from folders on your computer. And that should absolutely work. I don't know why it crashes, even if you only have five photos. Internet connection, that would be
Possibility.
my thought. But I can drag and drop a folder with 500 photos in it, and they
Just
all
wait.
they all get uploaded. Yeah.
Okay, Dick Tracy, if you have multiple Gmail
Hi,
addresses, how can you consolidate photos from both of them into one photo group?
Oh, and I have that is in the book. Let me see. It's probably chapter 3. No, it's chapter 1 because it has to do with Google accounts. All right. So in chapter 1, page 15, copying photos to another account. What you do, you use the partner sharing feature. So you have account A partners with account B. Account B says, I want all your photos and I want them saved in my account. that's how you do it with the partner sharing, and it's in the book on page 15.
Cool. Okay, June, did you get the email question? I think we did.
I think we did, yeah.
Okay, well,
we-
I'll double check. I didn't notice. When I want to add photos to an album, is there a faster way to find it? Well, we went over that too, didn't we? How to find the album, I think. It was the question. I want to add photos to an album that's already created. Is there a faster way to find it? And you went over the part
I
about
did.
putting it up to the top, and so it's a recent. Yes,
I did. Step 1 is use search and find the album. Step 2 is add a photo to the album from within the album. Now it goes to the top of the list as a recently used album.
Right.
And June, I thought I did deal with your question, but I don't see it on here. Oh, it just came in later. Okay. So yeah, let me do June's.
Okay.
I received a zip file via WeTransfer. I don't know what that is, which I was able to download, but not sure where it exactly got put or how I can move the photos to Google Photos. When I click the zip name, I get a list of photos. I open one. Okay. A zip file unzipped. Yes, you can just look inside of it, but that doesn't actually create the photos. So you need to find the zip file. If you're on Windows, you right click and choose extract all. Now the photos will actually be on your hard drive, and you can upload them to Google Photos in one of the 3 methods.
Where Google puts in Jim file, and it is Google and no pencil.
What?
Okay. Robin says, thanks. Hi, my wife and I each have a Gmail account attached to our LG phones. Do we each have a separate photo account? If you have different Gmail addresses, yes, you do.
Yes, they are separate, and that's as it should be, because whether you think it now or not, it gets really messy if 2 people are sharing one account.
But there is a good way to have
partner sharing allows you to see and share each other's photos.
And that's how we have ours set up.
But they stay separate.
Okay. Especially Chris.
Oh, wait, I want to see that one again. You guys are genius. All right.
Leave feedback. Andrew says leave feedback. Anytime you have anytime you have those things, there's always a place where you can add feedback in these products. And yeah, they do look at it. That's a great point. Thanks.
Like for those of you who want to maintain sort order from an album when you download,
leave feedback.
That would be a great feature.
Telling Chris is a good thing too, but she doesn't really have all that much pull.
No, you don't know the features I've been asking for 5 years now, 6 years.
How do they charge me? Well,
How do they charge me? Well, they don't charge you. You have to sign up. Yeah. If you do nothing and you have reached your limit, if you're over your limit and you do nothing, you just won't be able to upload anymore. And you will get messages saying, please sign up for a paid account so that you can continue to upload. And realize, because this is shared space with Gmail and Google Drive, if you fill up your space with Google Photos and don't pay for more, not only will you not be able to upload more Google Photos, you won't be able to write and receive emails either. So,
okay. Susan says, I opened a few of my Picasa folders, said there was nothing in them to send to Google Photos.
Well, when you say Picasa folder, here, let me show this. Okay. When you say Picasa folder, the only actual folders that have the name Picasa are for things like movies and collages that Picasa actually created. Your photos are in the pictures folder, not the Picasa folder. And here's how you can tell. So I do have Picasa still on this computer. I don't use it much anymore, but when I do, it's to create a collage because Picasa still has the best collage feature. And I do have one of my tutorial videos about how to download pictures from Google Photos to make a collage in Picasa and then upload the collage back to Google Photos. All right. So let's say I'm looking at pictures in Picasa and I say, where is that photo? You do a right click and choose locate on disk. Are they seeing that? Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. Right click on a photo and locate on disk. Yeah, and I've been having this problem too. It's showing up behind. See how my little file folder is blinking down here? It is showing it to me, but it's not popping up on top of Picasa. So
Picasa's falling apart as we.
yeah, well, that too. So it tells me that that photo is on your computer in users, Chris, OneDrive 202101 Tampa. So that is if I needed to upload that photo, it's this folder, this Tampa folder in my OneDrive folder that I would need to upload.
Okay. Is that the one we did? All right. Recently, I haven't been able to add a name to a new face when Google Photos invites me to add a new face. I'm not getting the "who's this" question using a Mac. Any solutions?
Well, first of all, if you're using a Mac computer, then you're using the web version of Google Photos because there is no software on either the Mac or Windows. It's just the web. And let me take a look. So you're saying that you're looking at a person under it's now under Explore. And if I say view all people, I will get to people that don't have a name. So here, that person doesn't have a name. I click on it and it should say add a name up here. And if it doesn't, something's wrong. I really don't know. If it's in the people area and it doesn't have a name, you should be able to add a name.
All right, Janice from Louisville. I continue to learn from your knowledge. Thanks for keeping us learning. It's her job. She just does it whether you want to learn or not.
Really, we have had people that put their devices away when I come over.
They hide their phones.
I don't want to learn anything today.
Too much. Trish has a new iPhone, had an Android before. Can I set my Google Photos as a default?
Nope.
No.
You cannot use Google Photos as a default.
But you
on
can,
the Apple device.
What you can do is move the Apple Photos icon on your iPhone to another homepage, if you will, and put the Google Photos icon prominent on your first screen.
Yeah, just don't use it. Don't use the Apple Photos.
Unless it's for something that it does better.
Now, there's one thing. When you just took a picture on your iPhone, if you tap on the little miniature of that picture to see it, it's going to take you to Apple Photos. So just don't do that. After you take a picture, press home and then go into Google Photos and the picture will be there. Both Apple Photos and Google Photos see the camera.
And they're looking at the same picture. One picture.
One picture.
All right.
2 apps.
Okay, Andrew's running over to Michael's show, and we'll catch that too. What about new inclusion of Documents tab in Google Photos?
Okay, I think Edith is referring to a news item that came out today. Is it, so what was it again? About documents.
Documents tab in
The
Google
document
Photos.
tabs in Google Photos. That sounds kind of cool. How many of you, I know I do, take pictures? I have pictures of business cards. I have pictures of receipts. I've taken pictures of documents because I use Google Photos all the time. So it's just so convenient. And I can search and I can copy the text from that. I mean, it's so cool. I haven't seen this feature yet. It was just in the news.
It was
today.
announced. And it's probably going to roll out as they do everything slowly.
But it's not that big a deal. It's just in the area where it has people and places and things and then videos and selfies, there will now be a section called Documents that puts all those, that just groups all those paper things together. So it makes it easier to find.
Trying to decide between Google Photos and Microsoft OneDrive. You're asking the wrong person. I am primarily a camera user. Do you have an opinion which service would be best? Well, it depends. If you have a whole lot of storage in Microsoft's OneDrive, then that might be a good place to put them, but still use Google Photos, right?
Yeah. See, I use them both, but it's really, really important to have one that is your focus, because if you're anything like me, you work with your photos a lot. You need to depend that one place is where you work with them, and that one place is what you learn how to use. Both Google Photos and Microsoft OneDrive photos, there's a lot to learn. And the better you are, the more success you'll have with your photos. And that said, Google Photos is designed much more to be a place to work with our photos, to search, to find our photos, to share them. Microsoft OneDrive is designed a lot more to be file storage. So for example, if you really, really, really want folders and folders within folders, and that's how you want to work with your photos, OneDrive is the system for you. But if you want to be able to just instantly find anything in your life, to search, to make little collages, to make albums and share with everybody in the Google universe, and use things like Google Lens, then Google, I think Google is the best photo management system.
Okay, answered my question. Thanks for all sharing your knowledge, Chris. It's a lot of fun. Video Journey says thanks, and we are to the bottom of our list and the top of the hour. That was great.
Yeah.
And
all right.
We hope you all enjoyed it. We'll be doing this Ask Chris Anything Google Photos. We'll be doing it again next month. That'll be in our calendar. Check it out. If you haven't already, please click that thumbs up if you're on YouTube, either one. That really helps out a lot. Leave some chat or some comments and things in there on Facebook, and we'll see you next time.
Make sure to subscribe to our newsletter. That's how you'll learn what we're up to.
That's right. And
at geeksontour.com.
And we'll see you next time. Be
Bye.
safe.